This is IMO derived from forest microbes. So this is rice, and this is fermented.
Rice, brown sugar.
Rice, brown sugar, and the inoculum. So right now we're breeding IMOs. If I can shake this up, that may foam up a little bit for you.
Woo-wee.
Okay, so
yeah, it smells like a...
See that foam come up? Very much alive.
Yeah, and so this one you use the forest inoculum?
Yeah, this I use the forest. So first what I do is I have a cake tray at home.
Yeah.
Probably about this wide, this long. And I put about 1.5 inches of rice on the base of this cake tray, almost like you would brownies. And at that point, after that's done, and I let the rice cool. Everything's cool, and you can cook it, or supposed to cook it more on the dry side. And on the dry side, after it's cooled in the Tupperware, you sprinkle the microbes that were collected in the mountains in the ancient forest, the old forest, and you sprinkle that on top of the rice. Cover it with the lid, and 7 days later, you'll see a white cloud of mycelium. It looks like cotton candy. And at that point, that gets applied to 50% sugar, and this is what we store it with. So these are the essence of the microbes.
So the microbes are started on the cooked rice first. And then you're moving into the sugar and the fermentation of the container.
That's right, and we use by weight 50% sugar to the rice, and what that does is it gives food for the microbes, allows them to multiply. And then we use this at a dilution rate of 1,000 to 1 in a solution for inoculation.
So it goes pretty far if you're spraying it down the rows. I see.
Now that's not the only microbe we use. We use the bamboo microbe, which is prepared the same way. And one of the other microbes that we use is lacto-acid bacilli, which is a great microbe because that is aerobic as well as anaerobic. And the way we make this is we use rice wash. When you cook rice and you're going to wash the rice, you take that wash and I put it in a Tupperware. I leave it on the counter for about 7 days, and I let sour smell come through. Once I smell that it's sour, I use 1 part of this rice wash to 10 parts whole milk. What will happen after another 7 days is the milk will start to separate. The curds will float to the top, the whey will go to the bottom. The top is like cottage cheese. And in the middle is a yellowish fluid, which is the lacto-acid bacteria. That lacto-acid, again, add equal parts of brown sugar, and that's a preservative. If you don't add the brown sugar, you have to keep it in the refrigerator.
At the price of milk in Hawaii, though, that makes a pretty expensive concoction. How do you get around the price of milk?
Well, it does, but okay. So for a gallon of milk, that's about 8 pounds of sugar.
Yeah.
That I made this batch last October.
Okay, so it's lasting a while
because of the dilution rates.
Okay.
The dilution rates are 1 to 1,000.
1 to 1,000, huh? So it goes a long way.
It goes a long way.
All right, you're describing all these inoculants. You got one that's made out of Chinese herbs, angelica, garlic, ginger, and so on. You had another one that you're using with fish heads, right?
Yes. It's basically a fish scraps, and we're using 50% sugar to 50% fish scraps. And that's heads, guts, whatever you can get at the fish scrap store, and 50% sugar. And it does not smell if you use the proper amount of sugar.
You gave me some. I put it in my orchard. Yeah.
And it doesn't smell. So that's what we call FAA, fish amino acid. Right now, so at this point in the orchard, because I'm in my reproductive cycle of the orchard, we're starting to flower and fruit. So we're going to back off the nitrogen, but part of fruit production is adding calcium. So what we're going to do now is we're going to make what we call water-soluble calcium. These are eggshells that have been slow roasted in a pan, and just to remove any of the albumin, any of the liquids. So these are primary eggshells. And again, we're going to use 10 to 1. I think I got some This is what we call WCA, water soluble calcium. So, and you know, you can be as scientific as you want, or you can be as low tech as you want. But basically, the recipe is 10 parts rice wine vinegar to 1 part eggshells.
I was wondering why you had this rice vinegar sitting next to me.
Yeah. So I actually use a rice vinegar itself as an input. All right. So that looks like to me 1 part of that jar, and we're going to add 10 parts vinegar. And watch the magic show. We use rice wine vinegar, and we try to get brewed vinegar as opposed to distilled. Butter vinegar.
Brewed. I see, it's on the label as a word right there, right?
10 parts vinegar to 1 part eggshell. And what will happen here is that these eggshells will start to rise and float, and basically you're having a reaction because of the acid in the vinegar is going to dissolve the calcium out of the eggshells, and now I can use this calcium as a liquid spray out in the orchard at approximately 1,000 to 1 ratio.
Any particular thing you use calcium spray for? Or just
I use the calcium spray in the following the nutritive cycle when I have fruit embryos and or buds on the plant, because that's its highest demand is calcium.
Embryos, eggs.
Yeah, that's right. So we'll give.
So we get dancing eggshells over here.
Dancing eggshells, water soluble calcium. So, like I said, those eggshells turn rubbery. You know, at the end of this process, that activity slows way down. That's your indication that it's done, and use that as a 1,000 to 1.
Okay, so how many eggshells to start with? How many eggs start with?
Oh, jeez, a lot. I may have had 75 eggshells.
So and now how are you getting all these eggshells?
Go to the restaurant.
Uh-huh.
And they'll hold them for me.
Uh-huh. Okay.